Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and this is yet another episode of my For My Students video series. And this particular video presentation is going to go out to Jamatron Jaffa. Okay? Now, there's a good reason for this, so hang in there. Now, first of all, although the song Can't Get It Out of My Head was ELO's first top 40 hit, I have to agree with Jamatron Jaffa that Can't Get It Out of My Head did not appear on ELO's first album. It actually appeared on their fourth album. And I do apologize for that. I was not aware of that. So you have my deepest apology on that. Think about that. They actually had 4 albums, okay, and the first 3 were duds. Wow. I mean, you know, as far as Billboard is concerned, they were pretty much duds. Yeah. Okay, just a thought on that one, okay? Now, furthermore, although Richard Tandy did rejoin ELO before the album Lone in the Universe was produced, I again have to agree with Jamatron Jaffa. It's true that Richard Tandy didn't play keyboards for that particular album. But I have little doubt that when Jeff Lynne decides to start a new nationwide music tour for ELO, Richard Tandy most likely will play keyboards for Jeff Lynne's new songs. I believe that. So even though he didn't help produce the album, he probably will at some point go ahead and play those new songs with Jeff Lynne. So, Jamatron Jaffa, thank you very much for your clarifications. I do apologize for the mistakes I made. Thank you very much for letting me know. Okay, so, a couple of other notes right now. First of all, you haven't noticed videos from me for the last couple of weeks. There is an explanation for that. First of all, I've been a lot busier than I thought I would be at this point. Retail, like I said, has funky hours. Sometimes you have very little, and then sometimes you have a whole heck of a lot. So that factored into that. However, there is another thing you didn't know, and that was, okay, that I developed a web page. That's right. And it's in beta testing right now. Crazy Josh Cravey does know about this. Anybody that is on my Facebook fan page knows all about this. So if you guys want to see it, it is in beta testing right now. Please let me know. I'll send you a password. I'll send you a hyperlink to where this website is, and you can go see it for yourself and beta test it for me before I release it out to the general public. One of the things that will be added to that particular web page will be a counter, and there's a good reason for that. Okay? You'll start off, when I get this thing fully functional, you'll start off with 3 Italian words. Okay? And when you get all 3 of those Italian words correct, then this counter will give you the next set of 3 words, but it will also place an advertisement on my web page, and that particular advertisement will tell you about some of the playlists on my YouTube channel. And then people hopefully will click those hyperlinks, go back to those playlists, watch them, learn from them, etc., etc. See what I mean? And that is something that has been going on. I'm sure you guys didn't know anything about that, and I apologize for that. If you've been on my fan page, you knew. Otherwise, you didn't. So, anyway, hopefully you guys will take the time. You'll go on there, and you'll either ask me for the hyperlink to that web page, or you'll get on my fan page, whatever. Anyway, now then. Now, before I present the meat and potatoes of this particular video, I would like to personally thank YouTube for approving my YouTube controversy video for monetization. It took them almost a month to figure out that there was nothing wrong with that particular video and it needed to be approved for monetization. Okay? I am pleased to know that they think that historical facts are advertiser friendly. I was really getting concerned about that. So anyway, I really want to thank them for approving that video for monetization. I really felt that it should be monetized because it's based on historical facts and not conjecture. Okay. Now, most of the meat and potatoes of this particular video were written before they approved my video for monetization. So keep that in mind as you listen to the rest of this presentation. Okay. Now then. Now, many people don't know that Galileo discovered 4 of the moons of Jupiter. That is an absolute fact. Okay. The names of these moons were, and still are, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. Those are the names of the moons. And I'm sorry for mispronouncing one of them. Okay? He also discovered the rotation of the planet Venus. He discovered that Venus does indeed sit on an axis and rotate. That's why it gets its seasons. Okay? He published these discoveries. Okay? Was he honored for these discoveries? Okay, I'm going to leave a hyperlink down here below that will show you the answer to that question. Okay. Recently, okay, this was before the monetization was approved. Recently, I uploaded a video about the new YouTube advertiser-friendly policy. Okay. I have yet to see a YouTube channel that hasn't been impacted by this new policy. Up until now, YouTube has been a landscape that has been similar to the landscape of the western United States during the latter part of the 19th century. Okay? Now you say, wait a minute. You mean what you see in the movies? Well, okay, yes. What you would see in the movies about the latter half of the 19th century, yes, okay. The real southwestern United States wasn't quite what it was in the movies, but you get the picture, alright? Now, the YouTube landscape has been transformed into a children's theme park. I'm not kidding you. Excuse me. Many people have been asking why this has happened. Well, I have a couple of theories about this, so bear with me on this. Now, do any of you guys remember the recent United States presidential campaign? I'm sure you all do. I'm sure many of you noticed that many major news organizations suddenly became unpopular. Social media organizations like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, of course, were often consulted for major news stories. As a result, more advertising revenue was pouring into these social media organizations than it was in the major news organizations. Okay? Major news organizations noticed this almost immediately. I'm sure they weren't exactly happy to learn that news, I can tell you that. But there is also one other thing that may have caused this YouTube controversy. Now, I know what they're saying about the Wall Street Journal, fine. Okay, if you want to read about all that, that's fine. But I think this also played into their decision. Okay. Now, did anyone notice the release of YouTube television? Now, eventually it's going to go nationwide. It's not nationwide yet, but it's going to go nationwide. And if it does, it's great up to a point. Okay? Now, think about how many people will now become a part of the YouTube environment due to YouTube television. And why don't you put the pieces together? Wouldn't you want a more advertiser-friendly environment if you're going to have something like YouTube television? Well, that's my thoughts anyway. YouTube content creators need to adapt to this new environment. And I am willing to assist everyone that's watching this video in adapting to this new environment. And here's how we're going to do this. The first thing everyone should do is acquire an in-depth knowledge of Latin etymology. Here's the reason why. Now, first of all, I want to say that my Italian videos will start you on your journey. Remember, good sentence structure and good vocabulary can help you create more advertiser-friendly videos while allowing you to cover highly intellectual topics. That is true. And I'll give you examples of this later in this video. Then everyone should learn how to conduct proper research. Providing reference material in the descriptions of your videos will assist you with your YouTube disputes. Now, allow me to illustrate this. In the YouTube controversy video, I stated that many European university students in the 1930s were not fond of some books that were in their libraries and in their bookstores. So what did these university students do with these books? Well, you can either watch my video, which I did turn into a pay-per-view, or you could read all about this in the article I referenced. I have a hyperlink down here in the description below. You can read all about this yourself. Now, I also discussed the desertion of the Cambodian city of Phnom Penh in 1975. Now, if you've never heard of Phnom Penh, you can go look it up. Okay? Why was this town deserted back then? Well, I've left a hyperlink to a story that tells you why it was deserted back in 1975. Feel free to read it. Will YouTube consider any of the material I've presented in this video so far as non-advertiser friendly? I really don't think so. But only time will tell on that one. But I just don't think so. Okay? Now, of course, many content creators will probably utilize their pay-per-view options to upload certain presentations, as I have done. Okay? But the best way to keep your content advertiser-friendly is to master good verbal, analytical, and research skills. Because if you can make more formalized presentations and allow people to do the proper research they need to do, you'll be less likely visited by this new YouTube advertiser-friendly policy. And that's what we're aiming for. Okay? Utilize your verbal skills, utilize your analytical skills, utilize your research skills. And I think YouTube will pretty much just walk past you and go visit some other channel. I really do. So you can talk about highly intellectual topics all you want, you just have to format them in a more intellectual way. See what I mean? So that's how you're going to do it, and that's how I'm going to do it. Alright. Well, hopefully that helped you out. The other thing that has been holding me up is I'm doing some research for a forum, and I ended up buying yet another book. It was dirt cheap, but it was kind of hard to find. I got myself another book. It's about $10. No biggie, you know. I know how to get good books for dirt cheap costs. You know that, and I know that. And I've been doing some research, and that has been taking up some of my time. In the meantime, as you know, a long time ago, I bought this. I have another one from James Burke. I've been doing some research on this as well, and maybe one of these days I'll make some presentations about that as well, especially when it comes to the Derby race that they had yesterday. Do you know that that almost wasn't called a Derby? It was actually called, it would have been called a Bunbury, except for the fact that there was a simple coin toss. And had Mr. Derby lost the coin toss to Mr. Bunbury, which is Thomas Bunbury, by the way, well, you would be having the Kentucky Bunbury instead of the Kentucky Derby. Just a little known fact. Just thought you might want to know. Anyway. Whew. Alright, now, I do have some material on my Facebook fan page. This involves the Swiss Alps. There were 3 tunnels built under the Swiss Alps by the King of Sardinia, and you can read his name in the fan page. You can see what his name was. You can also see the names of all 3 of those tunnels. You will also see the names of all 3 engineers. They all 3 passed away by heart attacks, and their stories are very fascinating. You should read them. I didn't provide the stories, but you could research the names. Very easy to find. So, just a little FYI for you. Yeah, I don't just do everything here on YouTube. I do things on my fan page as well. So, check all that material out. Trying to think. Next month, I am due to go to Carthage and to Dallas City and to Galesburg, Illinois to videotape Looking for Lincoln Signs. So that project is ongoing. Anyway, Crazy Josh Cravey, I do have a question for you. I'd like to know as much as you can tell me about Patreon. Please make a video about this. Let everybody know about Patreon, the ups, the downs, the whole 9 yards. I'd love to hear from you on that. It'd be really good information for all of us to know. Okay? So anyway, I'm trying to think of anything else I'd want to say. I really don't have much at this point, except that I will tell you that the past couple of weeks here in Illinois have been very cold. I am not kidding you. We had this front that came through, and it produced very inclement weather, and as soon as it passed, man, we got cold, and we have been nothing but going, ooh, brr, like this for the last couple of weeks. They say it's going to warm up. If it does, that's great. That's fantastic, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this presentation. I'm glad you all tuned in. I'm sorry that there hasn't been more videos lately, but now you can see kind of the reason why. I am still working on the counter, so bear with me. When I finish the counter, alright, for those of you helping me with beta testing, I will provide you with a sorry about that. You can see sometimes I stutter and stammer. I will send to you, upon request, if you are one of my beta testers, I will send to you a specialized password that will bypass those extra advertisements. Okay? So, I'd like for you to test it with the advertisements and also without the advertisements. And I'll let you know when I do that, when I get the chance, so on and so forth. I have not forgotten about the medical terminology. I will get to that. Sometime next month, I'm going to have a couple of vacation days, and I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to get it done, and boom, there you go. Whew! It's kind of ironic. I graduated in the middle of May, back in 1989, and get this, the exact day I graduated is the exact day that will appear once again in 2017. Yeah. In other words, my graduation day will fall on the same day of the week this year as it did in 1989. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got to say for tonight. I thank you very much for tuning in. I thank you very much for watching all this. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. Lots of information for you. Alright. I will tell you more in a future video, so I would like for you to stay tuned.